Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're mashing up two of my favorite types of videos to film. One being a plant unboxing and two being just general collection updates or growth updates. So currently, as of right now, I think I have 3 videos in the queue. So I hope that the order the videos uploaded were correct, but my last video would have been an unboxing from Jorge. So the plant unboxing is going to be the second part of my trade with Jorge or Anthurium story. The first plant in that trade arrived about 2 weeks ago. So that would have been the last video I uploaded. And the second part just arrived yesterday. And I'm so excited to open it because it's a wishlist plant of mine. Side note, this trade, there is a story that's still currently unfolding. I will tell you later as we open the box. But the second part of the video is going to be just some general growth updates. I don't actually have a ton of time to film today because right after filming, I'm jumping straight onto a live on Palm Street with Charmaine, like a 2-hour live. So I've been just like running around like a headless chicken. It's been a very, very busy week. And also because very, very soon I should be filming and uploading like a entire plant room tour, which I actually haven't done for 2 years, so I'm well overdue. So I wanted to do that before I go away on holidays. But I wanted to show you some like key highlights because I won't be able to have time to like spend a lot of time on each plant during the plant tour. And there are a few plants that are just, they're doing really interesting things. There's notable updates, and there's one that's not an Anthurium, which has very cool flowers. But anyway, I'm dying to open this box. If you watched the first video, this is Jorge's branding, his box, his black box treatment, as he calls it. And if you watched the last video, you would have seen that his packaging is like impeccable, beautiful, amazing. By the way, if you haven't watched that unboxing, I would encourage you to do it if you have like an extra 15 minutes some days, because I talk a little bit more in depth about Jorge and experiment he's conducting, like a field study with a whole bunch of growers on mycorrhizal fungi. I don't have the details on the field study because I'm not a part of it, but I believe he'll be sharing with me some findings and results. And just as an aside, Jorge does have, I think, a medical background, which is very well suited, I think, for the study. Oh, this one has another note as well. Jorge is so sweet. Put this girl into a prop box and she will give you the most beautiful leaves and perfectly red veins. That's a little bit of a spoiler. Thank you, Alice, for all you do for all of us in the plant world. It's just so nice. Showing you the inside of the box once again. If you missed the first video, he has black bubble wrap. He gave me more stickers. I'm gonna give one to Charmaine because I know she loves stickers as much as I do. So here is the plant. I'm not showing you the side with his beautiful 3D printed tag, but his masking tape is also black. Actually, you know what? I feel like the plant, I don't think there's any leaves on it, so I may as well show you the tag now. Ta-da! I'm so excited to meet my new baby. So last time I opened this and I just like kind of squeezed it out. I don't think this is as tight as last time, so I might just be able to pull it out because I want to save this insulation tube because it's the perfect size for a 4-inch plant to just slide right in, and that's going to be really good for winter shipping. There is a leaf. Oh, you guys, you know what? Since the leaves are just exposed, I'm gonna rip something if I don't just cut it open. So I'm just gonna open it up this way. And I'll just have to reconstruct this cylinder. Oh my gosh. So before he sent this, he said, what this plant lacks in leaves, it makes up for in roots, but it is beautiful. I don't know if this is a bottom cutting. Wait, but this is a new leaf. What? I'm confused. I thought he just took a fresh cut. I see a new root poking out. Oh, this is a cut that's already sprouted its first leaf. I'm trying not to get the glare of my softbox, but look at that brand new leaf. I think it's going to prematurely stop expanding just because it had some stress from shipping, but it is so much more than what I expected. Let me just remove the tape and we'll take a look at what's going on in the pot. Okay, so you can see there's quite a lot of roots. I will be repotting this because I don't want it to root out in moss. I can't believe I finally have a red vein dark phoenix. I mentioned this in the last video, but Jorge has like a whole army of red dark phoenix. I don't know if he went to Thailand or imported them from Thailand. I do know that he did go to Thailand personally, but if I remember correctly, he said he had 12 and he's breeding with some of them. By the way, for anyone who's interested, he is going to be restocking his website very soon. As of when I'm filming this, he doesn't have a restock date set yet, so I'm going to leave the details in the description, his link, a little preview he told me, well, not a preview in terms of pictures, but just like a list of what he's restocking. Oh, so for sure, BVEP seedling. So what he sent me last time. So this one is BVEP round crossed with RA1F2. I have not touched this or like moved it, repotted it or anything since it came. It's just been in my tent with a dome on and it's super stable, but it's been with me for such a short amount of time. It hasn't grown yet. He's gonna have a whole bunch of BVEPs. He's gonna have red crystal crossed with Carlablackiae. He's gonna have a PAP RA5 crossed with 6, crossed with Red Vein Dark Phoenix and some others. And he's shipping out of California. And as you can see, his packaging is just flawless. So I'm not gonna have time to repot this on camera today, but I will be getting it into, oh, I don't know. It's a lot of roots, but it is a cut. So it's probably not gonna root out more from here. It's probably gonna root out more from here. So maybe just like my 4-inch square pot. This leaf is going because this is the leaf from the mother plant, which it was cut from. So this is obviously gonna go and it's just gonna continue growing out from this leaf and this growth point. I'm just so grateful I met Jorge and like this trade was amazing for me. Like I feel like he got the short end of the stick. I will tell you the story behind that in a second, but this is such a beautiful plant and I wanted to send him more, but there wasn't really anything of mine that he wanted. But for sure in the future, we'll definitely do more trades now that we've done it a couple of times. So in my last video, I mentioned that we were trading my red crystal port for his BVEP, and he was just gonna send me the Red Vein Dark Phoenix. And he specifically wanted red crystal port, and I just happened to have 2 specimens of it. But in my eyes, it's like not a really fair trade, but that's what he wanted. And I mean that what he sent me was like more valuable, but he wanted to be able to breed with red crystal port because he wanted to do a whole bunch of like port hybrid type things. So it's super annoying because the red crystal port that I sent him, it was the top cutting of my like preferred one because we got 2 from Bunny. This is what I sent him. So this is a prop of the one that Charmaine got from Amanda. And we both kind of agree that this one is like a little bit cuter, just a little bit like it has this like nice elephant skin texture. The veins are a little bit more minimal. It doesn't have a port shape or anything, but it's really, really beautiful. So that was his choice. And I sent that, or Jing sent that for me with Fido, American Fido and California Fido, and for some reason, as of right now, it still has not cleared customs. And at this point, I don't know if the client will even survive or if they're gonna like refuse it or whatever. I was so choked. So I was like reaching out to him to say like, I don't know what's happening. UPS is not being responsive. So can I just send you the top cutting of my big rare crystal port, the one that I originally got from Amanda? So I just chopped it up yesterday. I gave him the top cutting with like a lot of stem and a lot of roots. And I just chopped off all the old leaves. So this will fit into a box. But this is what I'm sending him and it's already flowering. So I was like, it's not the one that you wanted in the first place, but this one is going to be ready to be bred a lot sooner. And he seemed happy to have this one. Personally, I really like this plant, but I can see why he chose the first one. So I'm like glad that he likes this like second choice. And it was already flowering when I chopped it. I literally chopped it yesterday. Thank goodness the leaf seems to be holding on strong. It hasn't gotten super soft or anything. It was already soft to begin with because it's still expanding, but I left a ton of roots on here and this is gonna ship out with Jing next week. So I just feel really bad because he's already sent me 2 plants and the shipping was like perfect. It came super fast and he still hasn't had anything from me. So Jorge, I am so sorry. This is gonna be on its way to you soon and hopefully the second shipment goes a lot better. It's funny because like we've shipped to California for our live sales so many times and I just feel like maybe, I don't know if this is the case, but I feel like what happened is like they just flagged this one to be inspected and it's just in a long line of things to be inspected and they're just like not in a hurry to get to it. So anyway, that plant had never been cut before. So I have 3 cuttings that I got out of it, 3 like leafless stem cuttings with roots. And he has a big chunk on the top with the flower and tons of roots. So I still have the plant, don't worry. Okay, so some growth updates. The one I wanted to show you that was an Anthurium. Funny story happened like literally 5 minutes ago. I have my phone on the floor. It's charging like on a power bank. I like pulled my phone and the power bank dragged over the flower and it's damaged, which is minorly devastating, but it's okay. So this is an orchid I had gotten in the summer from Crystal Star Nursery. This is Bulbophyllum Elizabeth Ann crossed with Putidum, and it has flowered. It has 2 flowers and I hesitated to show it to you because they're not fully formed yet and the colors aren't quite there, but the shape is there. Look at these flowers. And here's the other one. Look at that. It is freaking amazing. I think it will get a little bit more vibrant. So the reason why I bought this,
I probably should have waited for the actual species that I wanted, but this hybrid contains Pallidiflorum longissimum, I'm saying right? I'm gonna pop a photo in right here. That's what I wanted. And so Elizabeth Ann is a hybrid of that, and it's crossed with Putidum. You guys know I don't know anything about orchids, but I have been trying to get into them a little bit more because I think they're gonna be really interesting to grow, and they're not gonna grow out of control like a lot of aroids. So this has been a really fun little side quest for me. And to me, this was the next best thing because it does have that really long flower. And do you see this part of the flower? I don't know the terminology, but it looks like a little tongue. They kind of wobble a little bit like bobbleheads. Look at this one. This one definitely wobbles. If any of you watched that crystal star unboxing, I planted this in basically straight tree fern fiber, but it's amended with perlite and pond. I just watered this like yesterday, so there's quite a bit of water in the substrate right now, but I've been letting it dry out almost completely, like I would say maybe 80%. And I've basically been treating it the way I treat Anthurium, but like a little less water. So I guess an Anthurium that I kind of neglect a little bit. It's been growing in my Millsville cabinet, but it's quite far away from the light. So I would say it's probably like the light's at the top and it's on the shelf that's halfway down. So what is that, like 2 feet away from the grow light? And somehow I was able to get it to flower. And this was the first orchid from that shipment that I was able to get to flower. I think part of the reason why I got Pallidiflorum in the first place, because I think they're generally a little easier. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've heard that they're pretty easy. So the next thing I want to do with this plant is, I don't have a pot suitable yet, otherwise I would have done it already, but I want to get it into like a longer planter so it can kind of crawl along the substrate, because you can see it's crawled out of the pot, or it already was crawling out of the pot when I got it. So there's some roots outside of the pot that don't really get any moisture. So I'd like to get something like a little shallow but long. I just haven't found the right thing yet. But yeah, this is my first very, very exciting update. And this one doesn't even live in the plant room, so you probably wouldn't see it very often. This is the part that I damaged by dragging my phone across it. I'm honestly so rough with my plants, and this is the consequences of my actions, because you don't, with foliage plants, it doesn't really matter so much, but with flowers, it definitely matters. I also got another plant recently that you haven't seen yet. I got 2 plants. Where did I put the other one? It must be in one of my prop boxes, but this one is a little bit bigger, so I wanted to show you. So you would have seen this on Charmaine's video. So this one is Papillamnum Voldemort crossed with a Ralph Lauren himself, and it is so freaking beautiful. That's the newest leaf that's been expanding. This is the older leaf. It reminds me a little bit of Soul Reaper. It's super ruffly on the edges, and I just love the veins, how they're like super thin but really visible, and they're just like super vertical down the leaf. And you can see that it's persisted on this leaf, but it's not hardened off yet, so I don't know how wavy it will be. It has rooted in this pot. I think Charmaine repotted this because I don't think it came in this pot. And this one has just been living in my tent, and it's been doing so great, and I'm so excited to grow this out, because I don't know about you guys, I still love Papillamnum. I know that people aren't that excited about paps anymore, but I still really love them. I think ever since Tropicals and Equigenera started selling them, it just became like, I don't know, is it because it's almost common that people don't care anymore? I still find them freaking amazing, and it's so nice to have these to contrast with like my round and silvery plants. And I am so certain this one is going to be so beautiful when it grows out. I'll definitely be giving you updates on that one. Another little baby. This is one of the plants I got at IES. So this one's from Paul, or Understory Oasis. So this one is Pap AF, possibly a Regale Napo hybrid, crossed with Carla PM6, and the newest leaf is so beautiful. So if my memory serves me correctly, because he hasn't posted a photo of these seedlings, I don't think, I think I just saw this on his phone, he was showing it to me, but the holdbacks that he had of like slightly bigger specimens looked like this, like they were really elongated dagger-like Carlas. That's basically what it looked like the seedlings took on a lot of Carla. This one is actually double-headed, which I'm very excited about. So this is the newest leaf on the other growth point. I will have to separate these out fairly soon, because I find that these double-headed plants never size up very well. Like they're just too much hormones to share. There's 2 apical points. So it has been rooting quite well. I just don't know from which growth point these roots are from. So this is not going to happen like anytime soon. Probably in the next couple of months I'll be separating them out. But I was so delighted to see this leaf. It has taken on so much Carla, and that color is so beautiful. It's like kind of, it's bronzy but gray toned and has that Carla sinus. And I'm excited for more veins to come out to see like how Carla it will lean. But I'm really excited to see how long and daggery, super spear-like the leaves are. And I really hope that it keeps that up.
Next update is this big mama. This is my Carla Wu one. Holy crap, this new leaf is so beautiful. This plant is such a beast, and this new leaf is so round. And I really hope that it's reaching its final form. It's gonna be a really round Carla because I think this is stunning. And the most exciting thing is I've just been harvesting off of it like so many seeds. I think this will be my last harvest. I kept this bag on in case it was going to drop any seeds when I'm not here and I didn't want to lose any, but I've done 2 passes of collecting berries off of it, so this should be the last one. Oh, that one's going to fall off. I'm going to be sharing some with Charmaine when she comes by later. Actually, maybe not all of them will come off today. I see some pretty deeply embedded in there. So this one was pollinated with Carlablackiae, which I have 2. I'm a bit lazy to get the pollen plant, so I'm just going to pop the photo right here. And it was pollinated on, I wrote on the tag, August 31st, and I think I started to have berries come off it maybe a week ago. So it was just over 2 months, and that was like a very, very quick turnaround for me. And I was stunned by how healthy the seeds look. I think this is it for now. There's a few, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, like maybe 10, a dozen left on there. But as you can see, they're still quite deeply embedded and I don't want to force them out. One time I did do that, like I had an infructescence ready. I don't know if you'll remember, this was on camera. It was a hybrid that I didn't really like care that much about. It was my Indomag cross with Forgetii Silver. The plants actually came out way cuter than I expected. They were really dark, and some of them actually have the pebbly texture of the mom. Actually, let me just show you really quick. This is the only one I kept, and look how dark it is. But it has the kind of rhino-y texture of the Forgetii, which I love about the Forgetii, and it has that really dark, super black leaf color. I might have said earlier that the Forgetii was a mom. I meant dad. So anyway, with that hybrid, the infructescence was huge. It was probably like this long, and there was so many berries that I didn't have time, or at that time, I think I was just like really busy, and I was like, I don't have time to slowly pick off only the right berries. So I just pulled everything off. A lot of it took some effort to kind of squeeze it out. And of that seed batch, the germination rate was really low. So that basically, it was like a good way for me to test for myself what would happen if you harvested too early, even if it was a week too early. So definitely lesson learned. And for this one, I really care about the germination rate. And it is currently flowering again. And I think I'm gonna pollinate that again. I honestly feel like it can handle it. Like some leaves took a little bit of a beating while it was producing berries, but you know what? I think it can handle it. And the pollen I want to put on it is my contaminated Carla, as I call it, which is my NSC Carlablackiae, which was like a Carla open. I thought about this or my Magris Carla. It's going to be one of those two. So I wanted it to be 75% Carla. But for this hybrid, I just planted up the seeds yesterday. I'm really excited for these ones to grow out, and I might sell a few as like 1-leaf seedlings or something. But what I'm really hoping for in this hybrid is, because there's GPH in the Carlablackiae, I really want something that looks very Carla leaning, but with GPH kind of characteristics. And Juan's Carla is just like the prettiest Carla ever. It has like really minimal veining, but the veins are kind of like this. They're not like super round and soft. They just look a little bit sinister. And I'm also going to be sending some seedlings to Paulina and Josh, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even have this mother plant to begin with. Speaking of GPH, my Ace Carla, which I believe was made by Juan, just put out a new leaf. It's so pretty. So the last leaf you guys would have seen was this one, where the veins were starting to show up, but this one, even more veins. It's sizing up pretty nicely. It's just such a beautiful like mossy green color, but the veins are pink. I don't know if it's showing up pink on camera. It's really pink from the back, if you can see that. Maybe if I hold it back here, you can see more of the pink. It's just such a pretty plant. I didn't get this from Juan, by the way. I got it from Amanda, who gets a lot of plants from Juan, or has a lot of Juan's plants in her collection. I think they do a lot of trades. But this one lives at the very front of my tent because I think it's so beautiful. I would personally love to make an Ace Carla or Carla Ace, because I do have both of those in flower right now. But I almost feel like I don't think I can beat that version, so why even try? So next up is a plant I haven't shown in a really long time, but I am so enamored by it. So this is a plant that I got as a seed last Christmas from my friend Jose. I believe this was a Yolanda pickle sauce hybrid. So this one is Fort Sherman Ralph Lynam from Javanini crossed with Dress Carla, and it's turning out so
beautiful. I didn't really know what to expect. There was a picture of another plant. I'll see if I can find it. I'll put it here. So this plant would have been from the last time they did this batch, like the same cross, and then they did the cross again. This looks so wildly different, but it is so beautiful. I love the pointy little lobes, that V-shaped sinus. It's so dark. It's a little bit light bleached. I think I have to find a new spot for it because it's very close to the grow light right now. It's at the very top of my tent. So at the back of my tent, there's a grid and I have these little like baskets on it. So it's like sitting high up. But this thing has been such a, oh my gosh. I just noticed the roots. So I'll definitely need to repot this before I go away. I'll put this into a 5-inch pot and get it into a different spot. It's popping out a new leaf right now. It's so stinking pretty. And I'm excited to get it to grow big. Just based on this leaf alone, I really want to see what direction it takes. I really hope it stays with the really pointy lobes. And I hope the veins come out a little bit more. So it's like 75% minimal vein plant. So Fortune ralphlinum and Dressleri, and then 25% is Carla. So that's where the veins are coming from, I guess. And if you guys will recall, it did have some blister variegation on older leaves. I think the first one with blister variegation already yellowed off. Yeah. So this is the only one left. It did have a little bit of silvery blister, but it has not showed up on the newer leaves, and I'm not mad about it because I don't really want blister variegation. I think this looks so much better, like super clean, because blister variegation can oftentimes mess with the overall shape of the plant, and I think it's so perfect the way it is. I love this plant so much. I don't think Jose watches my videos, but if you are watching Jose, this thing is so freaking beautiful. And if you ever come back to Canada, knock on wood, I really hope he does, but I don't think he is. He moved to Australia, but if you ever come back and you want a piece of this plant, it's right here. You better come back before I move to the UK. Do you guys want to see a sad update? Pretty sad about this. This is my Carla Wu 2 or Wu 2 self. I chopped it, I think it must have been at the beginning of summer, maybe around May or June, and it has yet to push a leaf since then. It's so strange. It's just stuck in time. It's not declining. It has been rooting. There's a bit of root rot from a root that escaped, but it had been rooting out in this pot since being chopped because there wasn't roots down there yet. And I'm just a little puzzled why it hasn't woken back up. It might just be punishing me for chopping it at such a young age. But this is so sad because I really like this Carla. I think it's gonna end up looking quite different from my previous, like my Carla Wu 1. And me cutting it at this size really set it back, which is very sad because this one is so pretty and it was growing at such a nice rate, albeit slightly slower than my Wu 1 self. But this one had been growing pretty well. It definitely grew faster than my other Carlas. So I have 5 now, 2 that I got as seedlings. So this one, this is Carla RA1 by RA16 from Rory. It is growing, but it's incredibly slow. And it doesn't seem to be rooting all that quickly. There's a lot of algae in here. This one has been really slow. I think it's put out like 3 leaves for me since April, which is quite slow. And then this one is RA8 Self by Buzz Plants. It just put out a new leaf. This one grows slightly faster than the Rory one, but it hasn't sized up at all. So I think I need to fiddle around with its conditions a little bit, but given the same conditions as my Wu 1 and my Wu 2, it hasn't really done as much. They all live in my tent in varying levels of light, but the same warmth and humidity. I'm realizing that like everything I'm showing you has like Carla in it. I didn't mean for that to be the case, but just a lot of the stuff I have is Carla related. Okay, let's end with something totally different. So this is my Pallidiflorum narrow. This is about the size of the leaves now, and it's pushing 3 inflows, and I was really excited for this one because I had pollinated it and it appeared to have taken. So let me just, oh my gosh, these leaves are so long. I'm really afraid of snapping one of these leaves. So this infructescence I had pollinated with PAP RA5, my PAP RA5 self, and it definitely accepted something. It's producing something. I don't know if it'll go all the way to berry, but I was so excited to see like it start to turn green and get really bumpy. But at the back of my mind, I was super skeptical that it was the PAP pollen that it took. And in the back of my mind, I was suspicious that Pallidiflorum might be one of those plants that readily self itself. So there's another info that came out after this
And it's this one, which I did not intentionally pollinate. I don't know if anything flew by it, but it appears to be bumpy and turning green as well. And then there's this one, which is like so receptive, it's not even funny. I would absolutely love if the first one was actually pollinated by Pap RA5, because Pap would be so interesting. But I also feel like with my luck, that could never happen. And it might just be a self Pallidiflorum, which I didn't want. Like, I don't want an army of Pallidiflorum seedlings. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do with it. Charmaine just did a batch of Pallidiflorum Nero selfed, and the berries ripened while she was in California, so I took it home with me and I was harvesting the berries. And the seeds aren't as small as when Lingeri berries, but they're definitely smaller than a lot of the Carlablackiae berries that I'm dealing with. So it was kind of a nuisance to deal with, and I was like, I don't want to do that again. And then immediately after saying that, I pollinated this, and then this happened, but I don't know what's going on with this. So if anyone knows or has experience or has heard of Pallidiflorum just spontaneously selfing itself without any outside interference, please let me know, because I couldn't find it. There's really not a lot of like botanical information on Pallidiflorum. Granted, I only spent like 20 minutes maybe Googling it, but on the IAS website, there was nothing. If this inflorescence that I did not pollinate ends up producing berries, then that's gonna throw my whole hopes and dreams off about this one. And it's not actually a Pap hybrid, it's just like a pure Pally, which is not like the worst thing in the world, but not really what I had intended. So if any of you have information on whether Pallidiflorum will just do that, please let me know, because I have not personally heard that they will spontaneously self, but I'm definitely not ruling it out. Just jumping in really quick with an update from the future. This is my Pallidiflorum inflow as it is now. So the second inflorescence that I had not pollinated started to turn yellow. So it's definitely dying back, which gives me a lot of hope for the one I had pollinated with Papillamnum. I'm still not ruling it out entirely, but it's looking a little bit more hopeful for the Pallipap hybrid. Anyway, I have to go prep for our Palm Street Live now. Charmaine is on the way, so I have to end it here. Once again, huge thank you to Jorge for sending me this beautiful red vein dark phoenix, which has been on my wish list for probably like 2 years, more than 2 years now. And I'm so grateful to finally have one. Again, I'm gonna link his website and also the details of the restock in the description, so make sure you check it out. Jorge is such a talented grower and genuinely a nice guy, so I'm so excited to see what he does in the future. Also, the Palm Street Live, me and Charmaine are doing just like a chit chat live. We're doing like talking about some Anthurium unpopular opinions or like hot takes, and we're gonna just do a random trivia match. So if you're interested in that and you missed it on Palm Street, I believe Charmaine will be filming today and uploading that on her YouTube. So if it's already up by the time I upload this video, I'll link in the description. If not, just stay tuned on her channel. But anyway, I hope you guys have been having a lovely weekend. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah!